Well, you got a hankering for something to sweet? Stick around, because I'm finna to show you our take on a sourdough apple cinnamon roll bake. Whew, it's the best ever. Well, thank you for dropping by on a pretty cloudy day. Maybe the good Lord will send some rainfall this way. We sure need it down here in the southwest corner. Now, there've been a lot of things in my life that have always sort of been a staple for me. Things I thought I gotta have. That is a good beagle, not in this order, a good wife, and I got the best one, and something to eat. And we've always had that. We've been blessed. But a thing that always is with me if I'm cooking somewhere 90% of the time besides Shannon, the beagle, and Bertha, sourdough starter. It is a thing that has so many uses. You can do anything with it. You can even glue on a toupee or smear it on a wallpaper. It'll all hold it up just fine. But today we're going to make something with it that my mother used to make so many years ago. It is a sourdough cinnamon roll apple bake. Now, sourdough was a staple for old Cookie going down the trail for so many years. He had it and used it for everything. Sure, it works best in temperatures above 70 degrees. It ain't that today, but I've had it in the house and they're warming. That's why it's in a crock jar. It helps keep it insulated even more. So Shannon will have you all the ingredients that's in the starter in the little description below the videos. We're just going to stir it up really well. We're going to let it set right over here. Put this little lid on it so any of them flying creatures or Frank don't get in it. And let me tell you folks, I found out something today. Frank, show the picture of him, Shan, is a butterholic. He stole one stick off the counter before I got out of the house, and my granddaughter Madison caught him with it. He ate a stick before I could get out here and get it off the table. Is he lubricated? We shall soon find out. What do you need? Granny Smith apple. I gotta peel them, so bear with me. See this? It's a hash knife, Cowboy hash knife. Got the cowboy hat on it. It is our brand. What's it say here? Made in the USA by our good friend Tom Willoughby, who can also dance and sing pretty good. So if you need somebody who can make iron and sing, Tom Willoughby, your man. Well, folks, we done chopped us up 3 Granny Smith apples there. Into the saucepan they go. We're gonna add about a 3/4 of a cup of water. Stick them over here on the burner. And you might say, what you got that tinfoil on there for? You can't. Well, don't let these clothes fool you. Sometimes even I come up with an idea to block the wind. Well, before Frank comes along and gets this one too, folks, we need another stick of butter in here, and we'll let that go to loving on each other with some good heat. So remember, we got our starter. We're going to put 3 cups in there. You can see the consistency is a little thinner than pancake batter. So we're going to add a package of dry yeast. Now, what makes yeast go kickstart quicker than anything in the world? Better than ether on a John Deere tractor on a cold morning. What is it? Sugar and yeast always go together, they do. And we're going to put 3 tablespoons in there. We are. Mix that up. So after you get this incorporated in there, folks, we're going to let it set for a minute or two, and we're going to go back over here to these apples. When this goes to simmering at a pretty high rate, what are we going to do? We're going to add a cup of brown sugar packed. But we need one more thing in there. What is that? Cinnamon. How much? 1, 2, 3 shakers. That'll do it every time. Stir it up one more time. We got to let this sit there and simmer till them apples get soft. So let's go back to work on this dough. Teaspoon of salt. 2 tablespoons of baking powder. 3 tablespoons of oil. 2 cups all-purpose flour, but we need 3 cups. Now we're going to fold in. But I like to incorporate the flour well, and then we'll see how much we might need after that. But make sure it's covered well, your britches, everything in the world. Depending on where you live, your altitude, the temperature, everything, sourdough is going to be a different feel, a different consistency. So just where you can sort of put your hands on it for this recipe and it don't stick to you so bad, we're going to pat her out here and work it just a minute, because like I say, I got to have this a little drier than what I would normally have it. So you can see it's about that dry. What we got here? Husband trainer. That's what Shan used it for. I done melted me up a stick of butter. I'm going to use half of it on this here little pad. Now you can use your hand, you can use your fork, you can use anything you want. What's next? Some sugar. A little brown sugar. It's going to help give that caramelization effect. You can't have too much. Then I like to give it a good sort of rubbing around to make sure everybody has got a place. You gotta have some cinnamon. Okay, what are we gonna do now? Stop, drop, and roll. I like to sort of try to stretch this deal out just a tad. Voila! I have just become a pastry chef. What are we putting it in today? A 12-inch Dutch oven. Remember that other butter right in the bottom. I like to give it a little rubbing around in there, make sure you got some on the bottom and up the sides just a tad. I'm probably going about 1 inch thick. We got to get back over here to these apples. We'll let it come back to a boil. What did I done when y'all wasn't there to see it maybe? I done took me a half a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, stirred it up well to get it good and incorporated. And when that comes back to a simmer, which it has, what are we going to do? We're going to stir this cornstarch in there to thicken it just a tad. All right, folks, you can see that cornstarch worked its magic. We're just going to pour it right all over it. Now, I hear some of you out there, hey, Kent, what if you put this in like in a liner? Well, you could drop this down in a liner and put it in a Dutch oven, or you could maybe even put it in some tin foil. I ain't gonna. If your cast iron is seasoned well and you take care of it well, there ain't no problem. Sure, a little hot water will clean this up at the end and you'll be good as gold. But if you just think you gotta do that, go ahead on, I won't scold you. Get us a tall trivet to cook this on because I want to cook it slow and get the maximum capacity out of that dough. Pretty light around the bottom because there's a little breeze today. Pretty heavy on top because I want to get that heat in there to get that dough to pop up there. Remember, we didn't let it rise. It's going to do its thing. It needs that heat to help it through them apples. Well, according to Shan's Waterbury and the Beagle's Tail Wagon, we've been on 4 minutes exactly. So what we're going to do, rotate the lid one way, the bottom the other. This is how you're going to regulate some of your heat, because if you had too many coals on one side or the other, always remember to rotate, and you rotate more frequently when the wind is blowing. And is it blowing in Oklahoma? Every day. The wind has picked up a little here, so folks, we're going to slow that down just a little on the bottom, I think. Let's take a look in there. I think things is happening pretty fast. Yeah, you can see there's a great amount of simmering, sibbling down in there. So let's slow that down just a tad. We're even going to increase that heat on the top just a tad, so I'm going to sprinkle a little more on there. Now this is different than cooking a normal cinnamon roll because of all the moisture that is in there. When you push down on them, it don't sink all the way to the bottom. That bottom is beginning to firm up. We're going to let it go a little longer on top, and then we're going to eat it after it cools. On one side there's a little more browning than there is somewhere else, so I'm going to rake a little of that heat off the top and sort of centrally locate it there right in the middle and see if we can get things to finish up. Well, y'all go get your plate, your bowl, your spoon, your bib, whatever you're going to need, because it's nearly that time. How do we know it's done? See here, this how it's set up, springs back a little. I can see some browning along the edge there. Oh my gosh, look at that. Whoa, see that there bottom, folks? That's what you call done the right way. Let me move this out of the way because I got a surprise for you. It's a big day today. What is it? Yep, he done got out the handmade ice cream maker. He did. Layer right up there on the top. Now wait for it. You gotta let that stuff go to dripping down and running and oozing just a little. That's what I call nearly too pretty to eat right there. But we ain't gonna waste that opportunity, I promise. This probably Takes me back to some of my childhood as quick as anything. Sure, it requires a little effort, but I guarantee you it was well worth it. You will see. So I want to give you a few more tips when you're cooking this rascal in a Dutch oven. Remember, have you one of them forks. When you go to checking that, but when you're rotating, you reach down in there when things is going to browning on the top, pull it a little where you can see that edge. Now, start out with a light amount of heat on the bottom, because when you got that much sugar, what's in them apples, and plus what's in them cinnamon rolls, making that caramelization and sneaking down there to try to get to the bottom, that stuff will burn pretty quick if you ain't paying attention. I'm glad y'all come by the backyard today, I am, and seen what was going on. This is a go-to, I promise you. You can make it Sunday church socials, anything you want to take it to. Hey, it'll be a big hit. From the bottom of our hearts and Frank and the Beagle's paws, God bless you each and every one. Hit that subscribe button. See y'all down the road.
Beag, what are you doing? Beag. Beag, get out of there.